Well, my talk title today is Journey to the Center of the Mind. And I picked that title before I went on my magnificent India excursion, realizing that I would have gone within. How many people are old enough to remember that song? There's 1, 2, it was 3. Journey to the Center of the Mind by the Amboy Dukes. Amboy Dukes was the first group that Ted Nugent was a part of. So if you want to go iTunes it or whatever, you'll get a kick out of that song. And one of the things that I found is that that's all we're ever doing is using the journey to the center of the mind. But what does it mean? What does it mean to get to the center of the mind? And so what's happening every day is we're in this mental journey, we're in this intellectual journey, and we think, well, okay, consciously, I'm going to go there. And so we start having these conscious thoughts, and we start thinking, well, who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I here to do? And we start asking these thoughts, and we're there in that consciousness for moments. And then after we're in that for the moments, all of a sudden the unconscious mind comes in and we're talking, well, what did she say? What did he say? What am I going to do at work? I wonder what I'm going to have for dinner. Oh, I think it's time to bathe. I think I'll put a bar of soap under my arm. Something like that. All of this unconscious stuff comes in. And then we come back to conscious thought, and we're still seeking to go to the center of the mind. But what does that mean? You see, I believe the journey to the center of the mind is going beyond the conscious thought, beyond and deeper than the unconscious thoughts, to that place where there is nothing but stillness. There is the seen and the unseen, but we are not attached to it. We are not identified with it. It is that place where there is this unseen power, this unseen potential, this unseen cause that lives in perfect harmony. The only time I have experienced that has been when I've been in deep meditation, when I've been in deep hypnosis, or I've been so fully engaged in a moment. Being in that idea of now. When we are so immersed in this very moment, in this now, all other thoughts cease, all other ideas disappear, all movement toward action no longer has any relevance, and we're fully centered and present. And in that moment, it is the greatest single expression of love. Because think about this. Unconditional love, agape love, is love without judgment. It is love without condition. As long as we have thoughts going on that are telling us what type of love it is, what this person is, what this experience is, the love cannot be unconditional. It's not God love, it's conditional love. But when we can be so fully present in the moment with a person, with a situation, with a way of being, we are immersed in the divine love. And that's all we ever seek. That's all we ever seek is the divine love. There is this idea that really became clear for me as we went on this journey in India, this group of us, of the observer and the observed being together in the same picture at the same time. So being able to be in the journey of life, being able to be in the actions of life while simultaneously watching yourself from outside of this physical temple doing those things. So you're immersed in all dimensions at the same time. And you see the mind has the power to do that. Because most of the time we're thinking with the linear mind, the small mind, the ego mind, and that's the mind that's only engaged in this. But realize that we are the divine mind, we are the infinite mind at the same time, and when we open ourselves to that possibility, we can be in multi-dimensions, experiencing the same thing, being aware of that. So when we talk about the idea, the definition of the divine, the definition of God, the definition of source, we say that it is infinite, that it is unlimited, it is beyond description, which means what? You are that consciousness, you are that awareness. But the human mind, the ego mind, says the only thing that you're experiencing is your life in this moment with all of the drama involved in it. In reality, you could and probably are having infinite dimensions of experience all in the same moment, But because the awareness is not there, you're not even knowing that it's happening. It's the idea, can you be aware that there are two dimensions? The dimension that's happening right here and now, and then the dimension that you can be the observer, watching the observed and being one and the same thing. Now, when you are the observer, the key thing about that aspect is that there's no judgment. The observer does not have any vested interest in what is happening. It is simply observing what the conditioned mind is responding to and reacting to and acting as in this life. It is seeing where everything that has brought you to this point of consciousness at this time, through all the years that you've lived, this is how you're demonstrating it. Here's the interesting thing. Your demonstration is a pure indication of everything that you are in your consciousness. You cannot deceive the observer. We think we're deceiving it all the time. We're making these plays in our minds. We're fooling ourselves. Saying, I'm more this than that. Wait a second. How are you living your life? Your actions cannot be separated from your thoughts, and your thoughts cannot be separated from your overall consciousness. So your consciousness creates thoughts. Your thoughts cause actions. They cause demonstration of your life. So if you're saying, I am one of the most loving people in the world, and you're living in relationships that are in drama, that are in conflict and that, stop. Stop lying to yourself. And start accepting where you are. Because it is in the acceptance of where you are in that moment that you now can set a new intention. You can now take, okay, this is my subconscious mind. This is what it's producing in my life. I see it clearly. I accept it. I acknowledge it. And I embody that I am accountable for it. And in that embodiment of accountability, I said, now, because that's my subconscious mind, I have the power, because I am the infinite, to change what's in that mind, what it focuses on. And then we do that through three ways. The first is we go into meditation. I am more clear than ever that meditation is a practice here in the West that has been neglected and is one of the key things to life transformation. Without meditation, we never silence all of the thoughts, the monkey mind that's going on. And so the subconscious mind continues to replay over and over. And the more it replays it, the more it's building itself. You following that? When your subconscious mind is putting into itself these thoughts over and over and over again that are causing you the experience today that you no longer want to have, and you allow it to continue and you don't stop it from that process, you're creating a greater habit. You're creating a greater desire to continue it, even though it's not a conscious desire. When we go into the state of meditation, we go into that state where we are quiet, where we still the mind, where we stop the process of thinking, where we clear the ideas of the past that are holding us into experiences of the past. And when we clear that, we now have a new whiteboard. We have a new slate from which we can take a new picture and put that picture into the light, which is the God presence. You see, the seen and the unseen exist all at the same time. The only difference between the seen is, have we taken and painted a clear enough picture that the light that is God that shines through it creates that experience. So meditation allows us to stop the movie that we're in, give us the white screen, and give us the opportunity to put a new film in, to put a new slide in front of the projector, which in turn now we go to the second aspect after meditation, and that aspect is the idea of being able to use prayer, or being able to use affirmations, being able to use conscious intent. You know, we make this spiritual thing so complex. You know, before I can demonstrate, I've got to learn to pray. I've got to learn to use the right words. I can't tell you how many times I've been in class or teaching or speaking, and people come up to me and say, Lee, I just can't pray like you can. And I look at him and say, it's not the words that I say that are going to change your life. What is the self-talk in you? What are the words you're saying to your friends? What are you saying when you revisit a past story? When you look at your mother, What kind of words are you speaking to yourself? What kind of words are you speaking when you think about your children, when you think about your life partner? What kind of words are you speaking to yourself when you talk about or think about your job? What type of words are you thinking about when you're eating? What type of words are you thinking about when you're looking at your body in front of the mirror after taking a shower? What kind of words are you saying then? Are you saying, ooh, look at this physical temple? Or are you saying, ooh, I really don't want to see that? Here, let me put black on. That'll hide everything. That was a great joke. You got to laugh at that. I'm telling you. Black, the color that stops us from seeing things. In reality, though, we don't want to have black on. We want to be able to see things so clearly as they are. Because it is in them that we understand where we are, and now we can decide, do we want to stay in that perspective or do we want to shift it? And so what is prayer? Prayer is simply our self-talk. It's a talk that we have to the world. It's a talk that we have when we're talking to God. It's a talk that we have when we're talking to ourselves. It's nothing magical. In fact, it's rather mechanical. Ooh, that really works, doesn't it? It's not magical, it's mechanical. The more you feed thought into subconscious mind, the more you create an energy vibration, and you create a vibration that sends energy out that's a match, and that matching energy can only attract to it that which is like it. So you know when you're with people that are matching your energy because you feel uplifted, you feel good, you do not feel restricted. If you walk into a group of people or to a conversation with someone and you immediately feel restricted, you got to ask yourself the question, why am I subordinating myself to this situation? Why am I not allowing the fullness, the allness of me to express in my most authentic fashion? See, authenticity is the one thing that is your blueprint of God. Ooh, I like that too. I've never said that before. Authenticity is our blueprint, our individual blueprint of God, because no one can be authentic the way that you will be. So there is never a time where you're trying to be like someone else. Because to be like someone else means you're giving up your ability to be authentic. And when you're giving up your ability to be authentic, you're giving up your ability to be what you were born to be. You are denying that you are worthy of yourself. Here's a news flash. If you're not worthy of yourself, then you can't expect to be worthy of anything more from outside of yourself. You can't expect more abundance. You can't expect more love. You can't expect more freedom. You can't expect a better job. You can't expect anything more than what you love of yourself. Because remember, you're the energy, and the love that you have for yourself as the individualization, as the wholeness of God, perfect as you are, is what will attract back to you. I hear so many people say, I want a new job. My job is hell. My job is absolute hell. I can't stand my boss, my coworkers. The working conditions are bad. And I go to them, I say, you can change, but the energy that you are that's attracting that experience within you is going to go with you to the new job. And when that goes with you to the new job, what are you going to experience there? Anyone been married more than once? Don't raise your hands. If you've been married more than once, how many times, or if you've dated people, different people, how many times have you gone from one relationship to another and they're just the same? Just a different face and a different shape. And then you maybe go to another one. I know people have been married 7 times. I know a minister married 7 times. And this minister said to me, he says, the only thing I know is in each of the relationships I went to, I kept bringing myself to it. And I finally, after relationship number 7, realized that the only thing I need to change was me. So what I want to honor is this idea of meditation and that prayer is self-talk. And then I want to say this. When we change our thinking, this is where we get messed up. This is where the East doesn't, in my mind, have it yet. When we change our mind, we change our self-talk, and we're in the oneness, our actions have to be in alignment. There has to be action. You see, that's the human response. Thought is not where we were. We were never meant to sit in the lotus position saying Om all of our lives. We were meant to think thoughts, and then from the thoughts, because we have these physical bodies, we were meant to act, and we interact with people. It is in that action that must be congruent with the thoughts, with the meditation, and in that congruence, our lives becomes changed. Many, many people say, I'm very spiritual. Yes, you are. You're always spiritual. You can't become more spiritual. You're already as spiritual as you're ever going to get. How you use the wisdom of being the allness of God is what is changing. How you use the wisdom of knowing your power. How you use the wisdom that there is a law out there that is impersonal and yet personal to you, that allows you to use it over and over again, either for the same thing or to shift. You see, the law is impersonal because it doesn't care. I'm going to say this, and I've said this before, and a lot of times people look at me and say I'm blasphemous. God doesn't care. God has no interest in how your life works, because the God that is everywhere present is in you, which means the power to change your life is within you. So God outside doesn't need to care because it's already in you, and the power to shift anything in your life is now. And you have that power, so why would it care when it already has given itself power as you? Now, that's the impersonal God. But now there's a personal God. What is that? It's the same thing. It's the power is in you, and it will respond to you based on how you choose to use it. And you see, that comes from what is this authentic self? This is the question we don't ask. Who am I? And what am I here to do? We may get the superficial idea that, well, I'm the individualization of God. But if you're the individualization of God, that means you're an infinite creator. And you can have no small goal in this life, because the infinite knows no bounds. It knows no limitation. So the question you want to ask is, so what am I here to do? What is it about my authenticity, about my uniqueness, about my qualities, about what I've determined to be my strengths right here and now that is desiring to be expressed? What is it that I have played small on for so long and I have not gone out and stepped forward with all of my magnificence? What have I subordinated myself to that is holding me back from being this expression? That's a powerful question. What have I subordinated myself to? The thing I will tell you, it's never to another person. It's never to another event. It's only to ideas that exist within our own minds. We are the self-limitation in our own lives. That's why my new practice is using these all the time. Because when I use these and I determine an affirmation that infinite abundance flows through me at all times, and I share it freely with everyone I meet. And I say that 108 times, I put that into my subconscious mind. When I pick another one, I said, good things always happen to me, and good things always happen through me. I'm putting that into the subconscious mind. When I say I live in a body that is healthy and harmonious, that allows me freedom to experience life in its fullness, I'm putting that into subjective mind. I'm not allowing my life to be continued along the lines of the law of averages. You see, until we claim our power, until we claim and clearly set the intention into the mind of God, which is the mind that we use, we are leaving ourselves open to an average life. And an average life, my friends, is living in hell. Why is it living in hell? Because within us, we realize that we can do so much more. We know that there is a power within us that is there waiting for us, and we are getting more and more ticked off with ourselves. We're building an anger, an animosity within us because we have not stepped up to what we are, what we know we are. And that's when we'll lash out at other people. And it's not that the other people have done anything, is we're upset with ourselves. We just are not aware. We just don't know how to see it, to know it, to sense it, to feel it. But once we get the idea that the power is right where we are, we can say, okay, I am not playing small anymore. I am now stepping into it. And all I have to do to step into it is one thought at a time, followed by an action at a time. It's praying unceasingly and moving our feet unceasingly. This is the key. This was the great lesson. This is one of the greatest insights that I had in India. It was the blending of the allness into the action aspect. You see, Buddha was very big into the meditation. The Eastern philosophies, very big into the oneness with God. Jesus came and said, there is a power for good, and you can, or Ernest said, there's a power for good, and you can use it. And Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe, that the power of the Father is within you. And when you go to the power within you, you can have anything, because he said, this I do, you can do, and more. Again, he was the great example, not the great exception. So in life, this is really key. Never put anyone on a pedestal, and never put yourself on a pedestal. Never put anyone below you, and never put yourself below anyone. Because you see, there's only one God. It is infinite, it is all-knowing, it is everywhere present, and it is all-powerful. And it has chosen to express itself as you, as me, as everyone in this world. So to be in this idea of self-love is to know that. And when you see someone doing something different, you can simply make an observation. That's an interesting choice. But you do not condemn them for their choice. You choose what is your behavior. You choose how you will respond. And the response of love is to know at the core of their being, they are God. And at the core of your being, in order to know that, you have to know that you are God. And when you know that you are God and they are God, you are now having the agape experience. And when you're having the agape experience, there's nothing but pure joy. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.